My own live. I'm going to wait for a few people to join in. But ladies and gentlemen, today I will be chatting with Daniel San. I am so excited to talk to him about his MMA career, to ask him all about lethwei and what it's like being a sports announcer and what he's going to do with all of that now that COVID has hit. Daniel is currently working at the LCBO, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say about that as well, since he is considered essential. I do see him in here. I'm going to welcome him in just a moment. How's everyone doing tonight? Let's wait for this boy. Hi, Tina. How are you? Says I'm waiting for him. I mean, I've learned that I have to be patient with Instagram, but come on. Daniel, where are you, son? Dan and I actually went to high school together. Hi, hello, how are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Daniel San. You are watching Oh Shit Live with Tara.
Whoa, motherfucker, you're in my house. Don't you be announcing me in my house. I
Oh,
announce here. Ladies
Send me
and gentlemen, welcome to Oh Shit Live. I would like to introduce to you Daniel San.
I'm gonna lose the coat then.
Yeah, you can take that right off. But it does look good on you. How you been?
I'm good. I still get paid, right?
Yeah, no.
No, eh?
No, but
I hope you're getting paid, girl.
you can purchase a mug if you like. They'll be on sale soon.
I'll pay 14 bucks.
Well, that's what they're going for.
Good stuff.
How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing good. Busy. Life is busy.
I can't imagine. You're looking healthy, though, for being an essential service worker. Are you wearing gloves and masks to work?
I was wearing gloves because I'm a face toucher, but now I don't usually wear gloves. I have hand sanitizer in my pockets, and literally anything I touch, hand sanitize all day. That's all I do. But we have a station at the front, which all of us do just 1 hour a day, where we greet customers. And never did I think one day I'd be inviting people into a liquor store and being like, hand sanitizer. You know, that's what we're doing. It's what it is. People are lining up in the cold today with snow for about an hour just to get in and get their Friday beer. So it's busy there.
What are your thoughts on your industry being essential? I mean, I'm sure you're loving it for the fact that you're still able to work, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, now it's nice. Things are like, we're more aware of what's going on. When this all first started, yeah, I was teed off. I came back from peed off. I came back from England, and I did my isolation, and that was before they were forcing people to do it. But like I knew about if you have symptoms, isolate for 14 days, and I just came back and I stayed in my house for 14 days, and then I went back to work. And at the time, yeah, I was pissed off. I didn't want to go back to work because we really didn't know what was going on. Yeah. And people were dying. So if people are dying, why the heck should I have to go in and touch people all day long? Because it's what it is. We're just passing bottles to each other all day long. And, if everybody was educated and knew how to stay germ-free, it'd be cool. But even now, still, people aren't social distancing, they'll come up to you from behind the store, tap you on the shoulder. Excuse me. If you're tapping me on my shoulder, you're too close. But for the most part, honestly, now I'm okay with it. At the start, I wasn't. I didn't want to be there. I didn't think it was essential. I think it's more of a luxury.
Now, Dan,
drinking is a luxury, but
I have to ask, because being, an MMA fighter, to be pissed off by somebody tapping you on the shoulder is a pretty big deal, because you're used to people punching you in the face. So
yeah.
how do you wrap your head around, going from close contact, blood, sweat, spit, tears on each other, to now kind of jerking when somebody taps you on a shoulder? Does that not weird you out at all?
it's a way different time right now. We've all had to adjust. Like it is. We make jokes all the time with people. I get an hour a day on cash, and I've had like a lady comes up with her bottle, baff, right into the window, not knowing it's there. And so all day long, I make jokes like crazy times because no, usually I would not get. I don't even care if someone tapped me on the shoulder, but right now it's kind of like more or less. I'm not really mad, but I'm frustrated. It's like I need to educate this person because some people don't get it.
Right.
They don't get it. We have dots in the stores for people. I'm sure you've been to the grocery store, but some people don't follow those rules, and that's the thing that's ticking me off. And I'm actually a super nice, patient guy. I don't say anything, but I'm sitting there in my head, frustrated, like I should tell you to back the fuck up right now, but I won't. But being where I am and working at the LCBO, I'm seeing at least one event a day where either the customer is getting mad at us for just politely telling them to be on the red dots, or customers fighting with each other. That's just something that's been happening now.
So the people are a little bit turning on the people then, you're saying?
Not everybody. It's a small percentage, right? Unfortunately, it only takes a small percentage to ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Dan, I had to ask the name, Danielson. Where'd that come from?
Huh. Most people don't give themselves a nickname, and I was called Daniel San as a kid a bit, just because of the Karate Kid movies.
Right.
So Mr. Miyagi, Daniel San, the Karate Kid, and I used to love this movie. I used to watch it over and over. Same with Rocky and other movies a lot of us have watched over and over. But I needed to have a nickname to go pro because you need to market yourself in this sport, and I wanted something catchy. And I liked Daniel San because at the time I was selling T-shirts, and I wanted something that people. Like I've had people tell me, "Oh, I wanted your shirt." I didn't know who you were, but I love the Karate Kid movies. Oh, okay, that's gonna sell more T-shirts. Back then, they said keep calm and focus, Daniel San. That was when that whole trend of keep calm was going.
Right.
People didn't know who it was, but keep calm was popular, so they're gonna buy the T-shirts. But when I looked it up at the time, San, which people say son all the time, Daniel San, Daniel San. Why do you spell it S-A-N? It's S-O-N. No, look it up. It's actually S-A-N, and I've been in arguments with people over this. But Mr. Miyagi has an accent. His Japanese accent. So he says, Daniel-san, Daniel-san, the whole movie, right? So people mix the two up. It is San. When I first looked this up years ago, and I did recently so I wouldn't make any mistakes, I was told that that's a Japanese way of saying student. And I loved that. Daniel Student. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's perfect because no matter how good you get in this sport, there's always more you're going to learn. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be a student of this sport for the rest of my life. GSP says this all the time. He says, every single day on martial arts, I want to get better as a martial arts every day. And you can always get better. Long story short, though, recently I looked it up, and that's not at all what it means. Apparently, it's a Japanese form of it's gender neutral, so it's not he or she, but it's a way of referring to someone like when they're not around. So if I was talking about you and you weren't in the room, I would be saying, oh, we're going to get that for Tara-san. Apparently that's really what it means. I looked it up, but I had no idea. So I'm going with Daniel Student.
Gotcha. I like that, though. I think that, like, even in any aspect of life, you're a student, right? You're always learning. And even when you are a teacher, there's somebody higher than you that you're learning from. So I kind of like your take on it. I really do.
Yeah.
But I mean, to have a pro MMA title or name, how does that make you feel? Like, I know you from the halls of Gloucester. Sia, who was just in here saying, what's up? We know you as Daniel. You went from Daniel to now Daniel Sen, you know, fighting on crazy stages, known as the man who knocked himself out, fighting lethwei. How did you go from being just Daniel to now this amazing person that you are? How does it happen?
It's just time. It's my timeline, I guess. I didn't think this would ever actually, like, if you asked me 10 years ago where I am now, because where I am now, I'm like, oh, great, I haven't really done anything. I started this so late, and I know I wish I could start it young and, like, done it, when I say properly, but, like, I started, my first pro fight was a week before my 30th birthday. I never thought this was going to happen. So look back there to now, I never thought I was going to get here. It was just kind of a process. But what I have learned is that anything can happen. And sometimes I'm kind of bummed out while I lost my last fight. Or if you told me 10 years ago when I started I was going to fight professionally 10 times, do one pro lethwei fight in England, and when I started out to do this, I was like, I'm going to do this till I get knocked out. Say I did a pro fight or two. Because, like, in Gloucester, there was a lot of fights at Gloucester. But if anyone ever said anything to me, I didn't quite go looking for those fights. But if you challenged me, it was like, yeah, man, let's go. Skate park, 3 o'clock. Tell everybody. And this is how I was. And then, you get older and you don't want to get in shit anymore. But I still love the challenge of fighting. I've always just wanted to prove myself. Can I beat that guy? Would I beat that guy? Or is that guy too big for me? And it was fun for me. And sometimes you say parents tell you not to play fight because it's always going to turn into a real fight. I never had that mentality. I could literally turn it on, and then if someone got mad, it was always the other person, because you could punch me 3-4 times in the face and I'd be like, good punch, bro. All right, we're done. Cool. I never got angry. I love fighting. I love knowing the challenge of figuring it, and that's what BJJ and MMA is. It's a chess match against another human. And like lethwei, I had no idea what was going to happen. I don't know. I might go out and just smash this guy because I'm really good with my head. I played football for years. I started at Gloucester. That's all working out in my favor. I've never been knocked out, and that's the rule of the sport. You can only lose by being knocked out. I said, I'm going to go out and do this. And I didn't ever think I would do this 10 years ago. So the actual timeline to getting here, I don't have a fucking clue how I got here. I just showed up at the gym and started sparring way too much, and here I am.
So explain lethwei, because a lot of people don't know. I know I didn't know what it was until you explained it to me. Explain what lethwei is.
I can't do it in 2 seconds. There's a lot of time like I'll tell people what it is, and oh, cool. But there's a lot of differences. Really, it's like Muay Thai. It is. It's a striking sport, but you remove the gloves. So this is my first time fighting bare knuckle. Fighting bare knuckle has its challenges. One, because the punches, they hurt so much more. But also, if you're winning, it also hurts your hands. So right. It is bare knuckle. And that's really the big difference. Is your bare knuckle, there's no shin pads, there's no headgear, there's no elbows. The rounds is...
Sorry, yeah? I was just going to say, I want to know a little bit about the pose that you would do after each fight.
Yeah, so before the fight, it's called a leka moon. You're here like this, arm in like that, elbow high. If you do it low, it's not proper. This is like a traditional thing in their sport. You're here, 1, 2, 3, and you stop your foot. And what that is to them is that's the challenge. You've now challenged the fighter in front of you to a fight. And it's traditional. So all the traditional lethwei fighters, the sport's been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. This is what they do before they fight. So I did that in my fight. I hit him with my head and I hurt him. So in fighters will sometimes do that in the middle of the match, kind of saying like, hey, come on, man. That's it. Bring more action. Lucky for me, the fight ended. But lethwei, no gloves, headbutts. So like Muay Thai, punches, knees, kicks, elbows, but you can use your head. And what makes that different in the clinch as well is in Muay Thai, clinch is it's tough as hell, man. But referees will usually in Muay Thai break it up fairly quickly. In lethwei, they do not. If I want to be on the guy, leaning on him, they're not going to break it up for about 30 to 40 seconds, kind of like in an MMA match. So that gives me time to work positions that are also not allowed in lethwei and Muay Thai. In lethwei, I can pick the guy up and slam him directly on the top of his head. In Muay Thai and Pro MMA, you're not allowed to elbow the back of the head here. In lethwei, I can elbow the shit out of the entire back of his head, everywhere. I can headbutt him there. I can pick him up. I can slam him on his head. Behind, like in my fight, I grabbed his arm. I trapped him there. These are things that are usually illegal in Muay Thai. You're allowed to do in lethwei. Another big difference, 2-minute break between rounds. And I know you wish you had 2-minute breaks between your rounds.
I wish I had a 2-minute break between my rounds.
Everybody does. So the reason they want 2-minute breaks is, one, it's bare knuckle with headbutts. It gives you more time to work on cuts because you're going to get cut. I was so damn lucky I didn't get cut. I didn't get hit. It was awesome. And 2 minutes gives you so much more rest I tested what my cardio was like. 3 minutes, I can go hard as hell for 3 minutes. 1 minute rest. Come back pretty hard. With 2 minute rests, I can go at 100% almost the entire 9 minute fight. And that's what they want. This sport wants action. They want constant violence. So they give you the 2 minute break so that when you come back out, you've seen a lot of Muay Thai fights where at the start they're all wailing and in the third round they're just trying to survive. If you had 2 minute rest, I guarantee you in that third round you'd still be wailing like crazy because 2 minutes is a long time to recuperate. So the sport pushes action and violence and blood.
Now I had headgear, I had gloves on, and I still almost had a standing knockout. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know if I need to like condition my brain, but I was loopy at times. So I can't imagine bare knuckle, no headgear. How have you ever been seriously injured to the point where you were concerned with your brain?
The long-term effect? Yeah, I now think of it. It's funny because up until 2 years ago, no, I never thought of this at all. And you're sitting there, you're thinking, oh, well, I shouldn't spar hard more than once a week. And some nowadays don't spar at all. And like, I was the type of guy that was going in sparring 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Everything I ever did was hits to the head. So do I think of it now? Yeah, CTE, big time. It's like, okay, this could affect my head long term. But I've been doing this for so long now. You're telling me, yeah, it is having a little bit of an effect on you. I'm still not stopping. I can't stop. It's like I'm addicted. I can't help it. I retired, and here I am again taking a fight in England, lethwei, because of that challenge. I just can't explain it. Need to get in there. I love fighting. I always have. And as long as my body allows me to do it, I will probably continue it for a long time. But maybe not on a serious note like I was before. Because now I have a job. That's my priority. Before I was just fighting professionally. It's so much harder to fight professionally and go to work 9 to 5 every day. I'll tell you, that's like the hardest adjustment I had.
I can imagine, but then I have to ask, because you're saying you have this big, love for fighting and all of that, but what happens to that love for it now? If it's not your head stopping you and your injuries stopping you, your job stopping you, it's now COVID stopping you. So what is going to happen to MMA, to lethwei, to Muay Thai, to boxing, to all of these industries post-COVID? I know we talked a little bit about the UFC opening back up, but how does that even happen at a time like that?
I have a feeling that like the amateur shows we have in our city, which are all awesome, and Muay Thai was striving in Ottawa when we, when this all went down, with all the shows across town. But I really think it's just going to take time, and I think those shows are just going to come back better. Everyone's hungry, and I was forced with injury to take time off. And this is what that forced everybody to do.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming back hungry at the same time. I think that all the shows are going to be better. People are going to be more excited. The only concern I do have is those who maybe didn't keep up with the training that they were used to, coming back too soon and getting hurt, right? So some people are used to, they have the routine. I'm okay because at the point I'm at now, I was sitting on the couch and doing nothing for the last few fights because I was retired. I'd come back, train for a month, take a fight. Most people aren't doing this. Most people I know, they have a good routine. They wake up at 9, they have their training, they go to do jiu-jitsu. At noon, they do their class. This is completely different for them. So some fighters got to be careful they don't come back too quick and get hurt. So I have come in, I don't know, one of my nights at New Era, Steph's like, yo, are you okay yet? You haven't trained in 2 months. I was like, yeah, I think I'm good. Let's try tonight. But I don't go in and do class. It's like, okay, I'll pick you up. It's, all right, Friday night at New Era, and these guys don't know I've been hurt. I take 2 months off. Maybe I was training at N1. Maybe I was training at Patno, at Westside, where else I train. No, I'm just coming in, and it's like, oh, Dan's here. I haven't seen Dan in a while. I want to do rounds with Dan because same reason I want to do rounds with them. Like Mirza. I haven't seen Mirza in so long, even though I was going to New Era every Friday, and he was my last round before going on my trip. But our round was so much harder than usual because we hadn't sparred with each other in so long. And people are going to do that when they get back. I know that. I know when I see Vince, I'm going to smash him. He's going to smash me hard. Same with Steph. We're going to, it's just going to naturally get harder. But I've come back before, and you're wailing like crazy. And then I go home, and I didn't know I was hurt. I get home, I got whiplash. I can't move for a week. Or I pulled something in my hamstring. I remember that night I came back after 2 months. I'd never sparred with Rob Thomas before, and I think he dropped me like 2 or 3 times with a stomach shot. And like I'm not really a guy who gets dropped, and I wanted to throw up. It's like get back in, get in shape, do what you got to do. Everyone says they're doing it now, but I'm sorry, staying at home and doing push-ups every day, like that's not. I hate that stuff. I'm gonna be. You're not gonna be in phenomenal shape when you get out of this. The workouts I'd like to be seeing right now is get better, work on your footwork, work on something you can actually improve. But right now, I couldn't care about everyone's push-up challenges and whatnot. That's not making you a better fighter. But I think the shows are going to be so hungry to do them when they get back. They're going to blow the roof off.
So Daniel, tell me a little bit about, being in the ring as a fighter and then being in the ring as an announcer. What led you to do that?
Yeah, it's I know I'm like near the end of my fight career. I started this late, but I wanted to stay involved. And I was like, what can I do to keep up in the fight community? So it started with play-by-play. I started doing play-by-play for a couple of the amateur shows. I don't even think it was that good, but who wants to do that, really? Like, do you want to be the MC tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Probably not. Do you?
Sure.
Go for it. I just say yes, man. I participate. Dan, you want to do this? A lot of my fights are like, Dan, you want to fight next week? Sure, I'll do it. I'm not really I'm a yes guy. And the MC thing was Jeff. He's like, yo, I have a show tomorrow night. Can you MC it? And I was like, of course. No problem. Then I got home and I was like, oh my fucking God, I actually have to do a fucking show tomorrow. Like, even when I got to the event, I was like, so here's the mic. Like, do you want to do like an intro? And he was like, should I? I was like, no. He's like, no, you go. I'm like, oh shit. So I'm the guy who's got to go up there. And it's like when you first get up there, everyone's kind of like, oh, who's that? And it's quiet. You're excited because you have to be, but everyone's not really in it yet or drunk or cheering. So you got a quiet crowd. You feel dumb up there. But I winged it. I winged probably the first 3 or 4 shows I did because I was too nervous to practice. It worked out. I'm learning that each facility is different.
Right.
So Lansdowne, which is so beautiful, and the shows are great, but the acoustics are terrible. Yeah. And I got to, try to work around that. The last show I did was with Capital Promotions on Preston. It's a tiny little venue. And we did it MMA style, so Bruce Buffer in the ring announcing, and actually, like, this was the first time I went off. Like, I screamed, and it was amazing. And, like, people were telling me, wow, I didn't know you could do this. This was really good. And I was like, I've been wanting to do this for a while. I didn't know I could do this. But even I knew, like, I'm doing a really good job tonight. Why? The acoustics. The microphone was perfect. So that's a battle up there. I've had people say, oh, yeah, don't you get up there and you're, like, so mad you're not the one fighting. No, not at all. I've just been able to completely separate it. I love being in there and just watching the 2 guys who are about to fight and, like, observing them. And, like, now I'm starting to get to know a lot of the fighters. But before it was like, oh, who's going to win? This guy, that guy. I got a front row ticket to watch guys smash each other and girls smash each other. It's quite the experience. Honestly, I love it.
It is. It's a pretty cool thing to see, and I'm sure you go in, you announce them, then you sit back and you watch the fights as well. So you get a sense of everyone's style and, what they can improve on and stuff like that. And it's probably neat to see throughout your career how their fight career is progressing as well.
Yeah, big time. And some of these people now I'm sparring with, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, actually, we had a chance to spar together a few times, and I know I scared the crap out of you because I'm just so amazing. But
Well, I called your fight.
Yeah, you did.
I announced your name. That was a good fight. That was a really good fight.
It was okay. I think we're very hard on ourselves when we get out of the ring.
Of course, I am too. If I win a fight and I didn't finish it, because most my MMA, almost all of them, I think, but one are finished. But if I don't finish, it's like you won your fight. You should be happy, right? But you're disappointed in yourself. Like, you just won your damn fight that you trained with for 2 months. Be happy. So be happy you got in there as your first time. That was an amazing fight. I remember calling it. When's the rematch?
I got off stage. I went straight to the doctor because I knew I was concussed, and I told him, check me. He did, and then I turned around and I looked at Corey Jackson and I said, I want a rematch. And he laughed. And I was like, no, I want a rematch. And he's like, okay, we'll talk about it. And then I was hoping for, if Jeff could probably set it up this month, because there was supposed to be another Live at Lansdowne this month. But then that got taken away, so I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. Close fights, good fights. always deserve a rematch. And being the MC, I'm starting to remember his names, like Daniel Zhu and Marcel from New Era.
Yes.
They fought 3 times. Why? Because it was such a good close fight, like yours. So yeah, man, do the rematch.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. Dan, I want you to tell us a little bit about how you knocked yourself out.
Oh boy. So an amateur, I played football, and this helps me out for lethwei so much. I should thank all my old football coaches. But back then too, where we weren't all like worried about head injuries, I was taught to put my head through the numbers. That's how we learned to tackle in football.
Right.
And I had head injuries. I used to crack my neck all the time, and I have a pinched nerve. I had a pinched nerve a long time, and I ignore it. I fought the week before. I lost. I injured my neck. And when you lose, you're like, I need to get back in there right away. And I didn't care, so I booked a fight in Montreal against a guy who was like 9-1. He was really good, and I was just gassed. I was so tired. And during the week, I was put in a triangle with someone, and I actually hurt my neck worse. And I said, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it anyways. So in my fight, gassed out of my mind, trying to do something wild, I tried a flying switch kick. And when I landed, it does look like I hit my head, but I actually end up passing out when my shoulder hits my ear. So the nerve, boom, asleep. That's how that happened, man. It's ridiculous. If you type in fighter knocks himself out on YouTube, you're going to see that. It was like one of my first fights. You read the comments, people are going to be like, even his mom disowned him. I would move to another country, or Mortal Kombat fatality. Like, I hope this guy never steps in the ring ever again. I remember I went to Evo, and I'm sparring with this guy, and I'm beating him up, but being nice. And then after we're all talking, that same guy comes up to me and goes, "Yo, Dad, I got to show you something. You see this idiot on the weekend? You see this idiot?" And he shows me a video of me. And I'm like, "Oh, cool, man." I'm like, "That's me." And that story happened probably like 200 times. So I took time off. I trained. 3 months later, I rematched the same guy, and I went into a provincial tournament for like the amateur belt in Quebec. And at the tournament, I was a last-minute addition because I shouldn't have been in it because of what happened and whatnot. But my never say no attitude was like, "Sure, put me in there last minute." And people at the event were actually asking me for my photo. It was in Montreal at the TriStar gym. "Hey, can my daughter, are you the guy that knocked himself out? Can my daughter take her photo with you?" And I was like, yeah, sure. And it was a big fuck you because I beat everybody in that event. We had to fight twice in one night on 2 separate nights, and I ended up winning the belt. So that was the end of my amateur career, and I went pro. And since then, I haven't looked back. It's been quite eventful.
Well, I mean, that's pretty amazing that, kicking your own ass led you to be where you are in one part. I mean, that's a really good story to tell. I wish I
nobody's ever knocked me out. Only I can knock me out.
There you go. That's awesome. I'm pretty sure that I could probably knock you out, but we're not going to go down that road today. Dan, I have
probably. Use your head.
With my hyper-aggression attitude. Dan, I have a question for you. Aside from fighting, aside from the LCBO, did you genuinely think COVID-19 was only going to be a 2-week thing? Because I messaged you when you were coming back, and I was like, "Yo, if you're sick, stay home. Like, I don't want to see you at New Era if you're sick." And you're like, "Oh, it's fine." Everyone was saying it was fine, and now it's been like God knows how long, 50 some odd days. Do you think that it's a bigger deal than you initially thought it was?
100%. I honestly think you probably got me on the one day because as soon as I got back, like I said, I isolated, and that's kind of when we started finding out how much more serious it was. And I was like, shit. I went to New York City, flew there. Then I flew to England. I stayed in England for a week and a half. I was supposed to go to Paris and all these other places as well, but I didn't because of this. I came back home, and no, I knew this was serious, and I didn't understand why other people weren't thinking the same way. I also believe that there's going to be a second wave.
You do. So what are your
Since reopening, people are going to spread it. It's going to start all over again.
So what are your thoughts then on the whole vaccine? Would you take a vaccine if it came out?
I can't answer that. I have to do my research. I've learned to do my research because I have been that person. I don't just argue something. You know, you can be wrong. So I would have to look into the facts because I used to be like, oh no, I've never gotten a regular flu shot.
Yeah.
And I was always like, no, I don't get the flu. I just don't. I'm never sick. But now, it's like, well, yeah, but you're going to prevent others from getting sick. So I haven't gotten the flu shot, but next time I go, if the doctor says get it, now that I know better, I'll get my flu shot. Same thing with the COVID-19 shot. Like a part of me is like, well, and no, Dan's not crazy, but like, who knows? Maybe we could take this shot, and in 6 months, it's that shot that makes us all more sick, and we don't know, right? Like worst case scenario, that could happen. Is it going to? No, probably not. But I will do some research and talk to people I trust before I make that decision.
That's fair. I think that's valid. I think as long as you look into it. I mean, I don't know. For me, I think it's going to be. I don't trust anything new. I don't trust anything new. And I
Well,
know
it's just
you
you
can't.
need time.
Yeah.
You need
Right?
time. Yep.
But
Head and Shoulders gives you cancer. We didn't know that when it first started using it. You know what I mean? Now we know. So what does that vaccine give you? We don't know, but you also can't wait 10 years until you decide to take it. If people are dying and I'll probably just trust what they tell me to do, but
that's fair.
we'll go from there.
That's fair. I mean, like you said, as long as you do your own research, you look into it a little bit. I mean, you can only do your part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think sports will ever come down to having it be made mandatory? If you don't have any vaccines or the COVID vaccine, you won't be able to fight again.
That's a good question. I thought we were going to ask about the crowd because I was going to say absolutely not. Like, how could they regulate that? Fighting can do whatever the heck they want, really, for the fighter's safety. So, why not instead test the fighter if he has COVID-19?
Right.
Instead, why would you need to have the shot? Just test the fighter. They don't have this virus. Okay, cool. They can fight. Why not do that?
See, and I think that's where a lot of the questions are being raised is like, is it going to become a mandatory thing? Are you going to need it to do sports? Are you going to need it to go to school? Are you going to need it, Dan, to go to work? And these are the concerns that a lot of people, including myself, maybe have over it coming out is that, okay, they're coming out with a vaccine, but we know we're in a worldwide pandemic. It's so bad that we're being placed at home. Is it going to be so bad that unless we get this vaccine, we can't do the normal things that we would have normally done?
It's true. And again, time will tell, right? But I don't think you can force anybody to do anything.
Well,
but you can start taking things away from them. Yeah, your kid can't come to our school unless he has that vaccine, and that is going to cause a huge problem. And I don't have kids yet.
Yeah.
But, you're not going to, let's talk about Ritalin, for example. Back in the day, it was always, I remember like half the class was told they needed to be on Ritalin, and some parents would tell the teachers to go F themselves, and the other kids would all be on it. And I truly believe you can't, my kid's not going to just go on something because you told me that they need that. I'll make that decision. But you could go and say, all right, then he's not allowed to come to school. And then I'm really put in a position where, okay, shit, what do I do? Because they can take things away. Dan, you can't fight professionally anymore unless you get the COVID-19 shot. Oh, okay, shit. Now I'm really pressed to make a decision. And because they can't force me to take the shot. You just can't. But you could start taking things away from me. And that's when I think people will give in. Like at the end of the day, if I start looking around at me and everyone's taking the shot, yes, I'm a guy who, I'm a leader. I do what I want to do. At the end of the day, I'm not going to follow. But, I'll probably end up following. Oh, you've taken the shot? Yeah, and you have as well? Okay, cool. I hope I'm not foaming from the mouth in 3 months. I don't really think that way, but I always do think I prepare worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And you can't prepare for this. It's just one of those things that we're going to have to see what happens.
I agree with you. And I think you're right. I don't think that it will be made to be mandatory, but I think that it will come to that point where maybe you won't be able to do sports without it. Maybe you won't be able to go to school without it. And then that's a decision, like you said, it's on you. It's, do you have enough will to stand in your beliefs and say, well, screw it then. I'm not going to do those things, or I'm going to fight to be able to do them, or I don't know. It's going to be a long road. That's what I think, for sure.
Yep.
For sure.
Every organization is different too. Like amateur tests different than professional, and every country, every state, every province has their own rules. When I fight in Alberta, they make me do different tests than they do in Ontario. I lie about my address. I still say I live in Quebec. Why? Because the medicals are so damn easy. I go in, I have to do this, 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 and that. But in Ontario, I got to do the same serious ones, but then they add like eye test and this test and an extra physical, and it's just like,
Yeah.
so everywhere is different, and I'm assuming it's gonna be the same with this. Maybe some do say you need that. Maybe some say you don't. I fought in England, and they just wanted my blood work. They didn't care about CAT scan or head or any of that stuff. Which here you can't fight without getting a CAT scan and chest X-rays and stuff like that. So everywhere is different. I'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like you said, like, I mean, it's good that the sport is so heavily regulated. I think it needs to be, because it's as aggressive as it is. But at the same time, too, there's a lot of factors that come into play. I mean, it might even come down to, the fighter having a choice to say, like, you can say, I don't want to fight somebody who's HIV positive. Well, you could also say at that point, I don't want to fight somebody who doesn't have this vaccine, or I don't want to fight somebody who, like, anybody can pick and choose. It's your right, I think. But
and that stuff though happens now behind closed doors. It does. You have matchmakers calling gyms. Hey, does this person want to fight? And then like, because I'm an MC and I'm a fighter, I hear it. Oh yeah, this person wants me to fight that person. I'm not fucking fighting them because of this, 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 this. That's already happening. Just the public doesn't hear about it.
right.
I don't want to fight that guy because of this. And you have sometimes it's rumors, sometimes it's not rumors. But that'll just happen. Maybe someone had that once, and the other person says, I don't want to fight him because I'm afraid he might still have that. Okay, well, behind closed doors, you might have a pissed off promoter, and that's it. That probably doesn't leave that conversation, more than 4 or 5 people. So that stuff probably is going to happen. You're just not going to hear about it.
Right, right. As a MC now, are you dropping your fight career?
No, not anymore. I dropped the gloves. It's tough. I am going to do another lethwei fight because I did so well in my last one. It's like I really wanted to know what it was like to do a bare knuckle fight, and I used my head the whole damn time. I didn't even get hit. I want to do a lethwei fight. I want to go to war, preferably with the Burmese, because that's their sport. It's their national sport from Myanmar. I know it will be an absolute war. We all know the power of social media. I started this late, and it was like, who's this Dan guy? But he's got these posts and these likes and these followers, and he keeps selling so many tickets, and all his friends buy so much beer at the events. We want that guy on our show. I understand that that's how the sport works. And I think using social media, the fact that I've never been knocked out, and I try and finish fights, and the result I got in England, that I am going to fight on the UFC version of this, which is WLC, World Lethwei Championship. I could probably sit here pretty and just wait for them to offer me a contract, especially if they're coming to North America and making their debut here, and especially the fact that I have already someone who's fighting there who's world champion, and that plays in my favor. It's a sport where you'll see GSP in the UFC, and then all of a sudden there's 7 of his teammates also in the UFC, and it's, maybe they don't deserve to be there, but they've kind of followed the wave of that school. It's just how the business works. So I think I'll be able to get in on that. But I have bucket lists. I use that word a lot. Bucket list things I want to do. Like bare knuckle was one. I do want to do a pro boxing fight, most likely against another MMA fighter. And I have been in talks with the promotion in Halifax, where I was born, but I haven't been there in 35 years. So I'd like to actually go visit that city. And that's what I'm looking to do now is I'm not going to be training 6 or 7 days a week. Yeah. But I like fighting. I'm still good at it. I visit gyms. I spar. I need to keep in shape. But I'm going to use what I got and what I've already learned. Dan, you want us to fly you out to Halifax next week? You want to be in our main event? Yeah, okay, I'm in shape. Let's do it. Oh, but you haven't been working your double legs. And you haven't worked. Yeah, you know what? But it's a fucking fight, and I know how to fight. And I don't care anymore about, so many guys pad their records. I started this late. I wish I could have done the whole let's take easy fights and market my way up to 8-1. I just said, no, give me the best guys, co-main events, main events. And that's how I ended up with a 5-5 record, but they're all fucking wicked awesome fights. And at this point now, I'm not trying to take 4 easy fights to get to 9-5 and look good. You want to send me somewhere? Every fight's a damn adventure, man. Every single fight. I had so much fun in England. I had no idea how that was going to go. Even if I would have lost, I would have fucking loved the trip. I've lost fights before, and they were still memorable trips.
Right.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
I've lost fights, and I always get asked, oh, are you going to stop now? Are you going to quit now? When you lost your fight, how many people asked you if you were done now and you were going to stop?
I think people wanted me to be done before I started. I think I surprised a lot of people by doing that fight to begin with. I mean, I don't know if you remember back in the, I was a very quiet, shy person, didn't like spotlight, didn't like attention, wouldn't say 2 words in front of more than 3 people.
You're kicking ass now.
Yeah, I was asked, why would you do this if you're going to get hurt? Why would you do this if, you're getting concussion, whatever? How could you? You have kids. You have so much to think about. Again, I think the sport is very misunderstood by people who are not involved in the sport. But I never got asked if I was going to stop. I think they saw the hunger in my eyes the second I got off, and I was like, I can do that, So for me, it was more of I know I could have done better, which is what pissed me off. And I think everybody noticed that. But no, I was never asked if I was going to stop. My mom maybe. She was like, are you done now? Can we?
Yeah.
But
this was the first time my parents got mad at me for taking a fight. Like, my parents, I'm lucky. They've been at all my events. My dad is awesome. He'll call my family in Quebec City. He'll pick up my grandma, my grandpa, cousins. He'll bring everyone to Ottawa. Like, there was always so many people in my fights. And this was the first time. And he said, Dad, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and my mom didn't watch the fight. First time ever she doesn't watch the fight. But it's good that you have that support. And I had it too. I'm happy. But the question I ask all the time when I lose, are you done now? And when you play hockey and you lose the game, do you quit? When you play football and you lose the match, do you quit? No, this is a sport. And even though I went and I lost, the whole trip, the experience, the getting on the plane, the camaraderie, the people I met, the journey, it's fucking awesome. It really is. And people, I had a nurse, a doctor once come up to me, and she was angry. She grabbed my face, looked at the cut, and went, why are you doing this? I don't understand it. She kept asking it while stitching me up, and I was like, man, I'd just been elbowed in the face and beat at hybrid in a co-main event by some Thai guy, and I should have won, and I was upset, and this girl's, you're going to stop this now, right? And it's just like, I feel like everywhere I go, when you lose, the only question I get is, so you're going to do this? You're done, right? Like, see, people who aren't in the sport think of it differently than we do.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think I'd be more likely to stop after a win than I would be to stop after a loss. A loss will make you hungry. It'll teach you lessons that a win can never teach you. But when you win, you're ignorant. You're like, I'm undefeated. I'm the best. I've won. Yeah. When you lose, you're like, oh, I gotta work because I have something to prove. So as much as
I always trained, I just started eating a lot.
Yeah.
I never stopped training, but I was like, oh, I've won 3 in a row. I'm doing well. It's not that I don't have to train as hard, but I'll eat more. I'll cut a little more weight this time. And no, don't do that. You gotta stay. You gotta stay on top. People in this sport are vicious, and they're training every day, all day. But that being said, it's also just fighting, and I look at it like it's not really that big a deal because, I do the Gloucester self-defense, I do real self-defense, and to me, if I get attacked on the street, that's real. Oh, you're doing a lethwei fight in England? A lot of people told me I shouldn't do this. It's like, listen, at the end of the day, throw me on the pavement, I might die. Yeah, I'm on a nice padded gym mat with ropes, and there's a referee there to save my life at any moment if I get hurt. if I get jumped on the street by 3 people, which has happened, and they have a bat and there's traffic going by, and maybe it's slippery because it was snowing, that's real. I really find fighting, it's a sport. You know, you told me, oh, Dan, you're fighting tonight? Sure, I'll do it. But we really get into we don't do that. I haven't fought 100 times. Why? Because I don't like losing. Not because I don't like getting hit or hurt, but it's everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody else, the pressure, they wanted you to win. You know, you feel bad for the people that helped you. You feel bad for the people who bought tickets. But to me, I just fucking love being in there. It's fun.
It is. It is. And I hope to see you in there again. I hope we get out of this disaster and we can spar again. You know, I know you're a member of many gyms, but I know you from New Era. And I hope that we can, you know, get back to that sort of regular life and you can have that next fight again with lethwei and do the things that you love again and not just have, you know, this FaceTime sort of vacation.
The England show actually gave me a date again of August 3rd, but it's stuff like that bugs me because in my mind I'm thinking, do you really think you're going to have a show on August 3rd with everything that's going on? And do you really think I want to travel to England? Like,
yeah. Well,
we need to take time.
Well, and it's not even that. It's like, okay, if you do go, will there be a crowd? Will there be ticket sales? Will there be, you know, how many people will be there? And that's the other question. I know it could be televised and that's a whole other area, but realistically speaking, how many people are going to be in this huge venue, you know?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Dan, I want to thank you so much. That was awesome. I had so much fun chatting with you. We'll talk soon. Take care and be safe. And I want to thank you actually for being considered to being an essential service worker because like you're putting yourself out there every day, you know, you're braving the crowds and them alcoholics have some, you know, feisty personas. So thank you for putting yourself on that line of fire.
You're welcome, but I will tell you I'm a luxury, not an essential. Honestly, like nurses, people in hospitals, to me, that's essential as shit. I'm a luxury. It's cool. I want to say thanks that I am putting myself at risk because I am. So I haven't seen my dad, my mom in months, or my nephew. Why? Because I touch people every day, so I don't want to touch them. But I'm not essential. I'm a luxury. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for thanking me. Essential, you know, if your house is burning down, there's a firefighter there saving your life, he's essential, right? So thanks, though. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Take care, Dan. It was great chatting with you.
Have a good night. See you guys.
Bye. Guys, that was awesome. That was Daniel Sen. Check him out on Instagram. Tomorrow night, I will be chatting with Mireille on what it's like to be a mother during COVID-19 with 2 kids and one of them being medically compromised. It's going to be a really real conversation, heart to heart. She's, you know, strength in my eyes. She's been through a lot and she's got a lot to offer. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say. And I will see you guys tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Oh, shit.